we're starting off with a happy anniversary to us.
5 years we've been doing this daily online, precisely tomorrow, but we thought we'd, spend a little more than one day of celebration.
We're not going to sing to you, but we are going to bring out some words that we've heard you say, that you actually wrote for us about the about what this means to you, about what the daily online has meant. And we're not going to use names. We're going to go with what we did in our book, which is that the wisdom from these words applies really to many of us. And it could have been any one of us saying some of these statements that we're going to read for you.
Let's see. That as long as I stayed with my own experience, I would be teaching what was for me the living Dharma. And it was a natural transition for me from talking about day-to-day Dharma to talking about old age, sickness, and the truths of our day-to-day dying within the Dharma.
I think we're going to just say the statements and then maybe talk about a few of them. Okay, so next one. For those who attend this daily online meditation frequently, I would think something similar has happened. Instead of reflective meditation amounting to an occasional retreat or an appointment with a teacher, it's available daily and much more easily kept, at least in the background, throughout my day.
A long-term retirement goal was to establish a daily meditation practice. The daily online meditation and reflective meditation has become and is such an intricate part of my life that it's hard to imagine life without it, both as a practitioner and a volunteer. Over time, an intimacy and a sweetness has developed in our community. For me, a place of safety has been established.
This was a question that emerged. How do we gently steer newcomers to talk about their meditation, their direct experience, and refer to meditation sittings, what actually happened in a meditation sitting, while being welcoming and respectful? And with it, somebody new had given us some feedback. The power of the daily practice and showing up long term is palpable in this group. I'm not exactly sure what you're doing, but it's very intriguing to me.
So then we went back to our own thinking and came up with a few thoughts about how this daily online has functioned for each of us, for myself, for Linda. And we did it in the form of free-form writing because that's what we do. That's how we come up with ideas that we wouldn't otherwise be able to come up with. So as I sat down to do this, these two words came to me: home base and Dharma discipline. And I wrote then a little more about those phrases. Home place, the place to return to. For me, the place is about finding Dharma in my daily life, like as I'm going through my week, discovering points of Dharma, and that become the raw ingredients of a talk to be. And I thought the Dharma is kind of like yeast or baking powder that allows what I experience to rise and actually become something else. Should I keep going, Linda, or do you want to put a
Oh
point?
no, you go, dear.
Oh,
Yeah.
I go. Okay, okay. So then there's the Dharma discipline part of that phrasing. It takes discipline to keep going week after week, year after year. Now, for the most part, this discipline to be strengthening, but also a real challenge. And then I reflected, like, we don't usually use that word discipline um, when we're about meditation, but life is full of discipline. And and so in a sense, sort of keeping this discipline going for me has helped me with all the other disciplines that life demands of me.
You know, this writing that we do, kind of a free form writing before we get to some of our thoughts in a different way, thoughts and feelings, is so affected by where we're standing now. So when I wrote this morning, it's coming from a place of vertigo. I'm having an extreme vertigo attack that comes and goes. And that really affected my writing. So I'm going to say my two kind of points that came up was stability. So the daily online is a stabilizing influence in my life, especially if when I feel knocked around by physical things, mental or emotional things. And I feel less comparison of what I should be doing and how I should be doing it. It seems to have worn away quite a bit from showing up on a regular basis to a Sangha. And the second word that came up was evolving. And I'm really becoming more aware of how things evolve slowly over time and with gentleness, with less pressure, and with care. And I'm trusting that I don't have to reach so far outside of my comfort zone. That habit to overstretch, overcommit, overdo is really tempered. And it's been more about setting boundaries and discerning what's really important in my teaching and practice and relationships. And I would even say this today, this morning, in the midst of my world being rocked internally, I would say that it's helped my practice become more ordinary and more real and just entwined with my everyday thoughts and feelings.
Now, another thought I had about this is, and this evolved, to use your word. It didn't just happen with the daily online, but I feel it really took on a strong life with the daily online, moving from us being the teachers, you and I, Linda, to really us being a community of teachers and hosts that really, and we steer this, we meet periodically, and we wrestle with some questions of what would be best for the daily online. And so I feel like the whole reflective meditation has turned in that direction. We came from having a very strong leader, and then and we are leaders, but we're a community pulling this off.
Right, right. This really changed our practice, changed us and our practice, the way we get together. And I can say that with happiness, because not all change brings happiness, right? But this change has brought a lot of happiness and togetherness and interconnectedness. Dharma.
Also, what's realistic as an aging
Yeah.
Sangha, we actually need each other now. It's not just a good idea. It's become much more of a need. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. And we do want to bring in the people who listen to us on a podcast, because we've been recording these talks. We have over 1,000 of them on our podcast. And we put a little intro for people to reflect after the Dharma talk and then talk about their experience with another friend or another practitioner. And that we really want them to feel included in our Sangha. There are these people out there, we don't know who. Some people have come to us from the podcast. Nelly, do you want to say anything about that?
Oh, and just adding on to that, that if you can't make it daily, which at this point, I mean, during lockdown, that was a lot easier. But now when, we're going out and doing a more usual life that includes commitments outside of our computer, we want to encourage you that if you can meditate with us daily at whatever time of day is right for you, because you could just tune into the podcast and then meditate. And
Yeah,
it's another resource.
right. Right. And it is part of the work that gets done to keep this daily online meditation going, which is a pretty big endeavor. And it's basically done on volunteer basis. And again, through this kind of community of teachers and hosts that have decided that it's important enough to keep this going, and they have the energy and the time and the commitment to do it.
And then we steer back again to another, somebody else's voice who spoke to about the daily online. And she said, I use a big word to describe our Sangha that works for me. It is, quote, a miraculous, unquote, thing that the daily online meditation group has never faltered. Each day for 1 hour, the daily online meditation holds space for a dependable, trustworthy opportunity to practice together.
And it seems like it could go on forever, but nothing goes on forever.
Ah, there's the Dharma.
Ah, thank you all for being on this journey with us.